What's up, guys? It's your boy James, aka 68J, coming to you on this Tuesday. Good Lord, sometimes I forget what day it is. And I'm joined by the one and only, my friend, my brother, Johnny Krypto. What's up, Johnny? How you doing, brother?
Good afternoon, Jay. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on the show, brother. I really, really appreciate it. And I just want to say hello to everybody out there. Again, my name is Johnny Krypto. What a kid.
Hey, man, you know what I love about you, Johnny, man? I've been watching you for some time, and you're like everybody's best friend, man. You're just such a cool dude, man. And but the thing about it is that you're also brilliant. And I watched, there's a couple shows I watched, and you were saying some things. I was like, wait a minute, this dude really knows his stuff. So I had no choice, because this show is all us. Everything that I'm doing right now is based off of bringing on the most brilliant minds in the space, brother. And I think you're definitely one of them. So I appreciate you being here.
Well, you're just too kind, Jay. Thank you so much for those words. I really, really do appreciate that. And I'm just happy to be here to be able to chat with you about crypto and more importantly, help the community, help others, help people understand the space. It's a highly, highly technical space and hard to grasp and understand. So I appreciate that. And I'm glad we're touching lives and helping people.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to get into the first question. We're also going to talk about some things, crypto and Merlin. By the way, I kind of like the logo. I was thinking about maybe getting a tattoo. I don't think I got any room, maybe on my back, so I'm just playing. Let me stop.
We'll fight some space. We'll fight some space for you, Jeff.
But let's just start with Johnny Krypto. Who is Johnny Krypto prior to crypto, if you don't mind, brother?
Yeah, so prior to crypto, I was, I was an entrepreneur. I'm a technical guy by degree, so I have an electrical engineering degree. I'm an R&D manager for a Fortune 100 company. So I've been in around technology and innovation all my life. And that's kind of, been my thing, if you will. And so, for me, crypto is just like the next natural evolution, if you will, into technology for me. And I found it fascinating because we are moving, we are seeing a paradigm shift as we move from the old quantum, old system to the new quantum financial system. And more importantly, from Web 2.0 to 3.0, as we move into this whole entire blockchain space.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So hearing your background, what was the year and what actually initially attracted you to crypto? And when you found it, what was the first thing you find? Did you look at the shiny thing called Bitcoin where you're immediately attracted to XRP? If you don't mind telling us when you got in and what were you first attracted to?
Yeah. It's a great story. So I'll try to make it short and quick.
Yeah,
I got involved in the end of 2020. Right before we had that 2021 bull run.
Okay.
And at the time, I had no clue what I was getting into. But my cousin sent me this TikTok of this big jacked up dude in a tank top and a beard. And he was talking about the corrupt banking system. And I'm like, you know what? Finally, somebody who understands what's going on, and I can listen. And that man was none other than Coach JV.
Wow.
I was listening to Coach and I was listening to his words. I said, you know what? I got to join this 3T Academy thing that he's got here. I got to see what he's talking about. What's going on there? Let me join and pay attention. And that's kind of what got me into it. And when I joined it, he talked about, he was in the banking world and kind of was leaving that. And he kind of knew that there was a transformation coming. And his big thing was all about XRP and XLM. So unlike everybody else who got in because of Bitcoin or Doge or all these other weird things, I got in it primarily for XRP. Initially, that's what drew me in. And I was fortunate, Jay, that literally as I was kind of watching and paying attention, I didn't necessarily invest right off the bat. All of a sudden, a couple days before I was thinking of getting into XRP, the lawsuit hit and the price drops. And I'm like,
wow.
Oh my God, this. And I've been watching it and it was like 60, 70 cents, kind of hanging that. And it went down to 17. I'm like, I'm getting in now. I'm jumping in this so bitch. This is a serious discount. And, and that's how I kind of got into crypto, and that's how it all started.
Wow, man! Now, you're very fortunate that you caught that dip. You're very fortunate. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
That's the one thing I'm thankful for of the SEC. The one thing I feel bad for anybody who's free that because they got a raw deal. But man, if you caught it afterwards, whew, the SEC did us a favor afterwards.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was talking to Coach JV about that exact thing. I said, what was looked at as possibly one of the biggest, obviously still very corrupted, biggest scandals, but one of the biggest heartaches might end up being one of the greatest blessings when you think about where we're at right now compared to other projects. As you know, I always say, I told Coach JV this, it's like most companies and projects are stepping into the swamp in the mud. We're coming out and cleaning our shoes. We're like in that phase of getting clarity and figuring out what's going on and selling this thing. So I'm really, really excited about that. Now, I want to get your thoughts on the current market condition. What do you see everything at right now as far as, you know, after the halving? What are you expecting in the short and long term?
Yeah, you know, so for me, Jay, when I look at this space, I first break it down to try to understand, where are we? What are we doing here?
That's right.
And there's really two elements of technology in the way it gets adopted. And it starts out with a speculation phase, and then it rolls into a utility stage. And in between there's what we call the adoption gap, and that's anywhere from 10 to 12 years. We are in the process of this transformation, but we're still very, very much in a speculation state. So when you ask me, where do I think we are with the current marketplace, we are in a speculation. But I take it back to all the way, for those of us who are alive in our ages, you lived through the 1997 transformation when the internet boom happened. Okay,
right.
We are in that same. We are back in 1997, my friend.
Wow.
We are back in the beginning of that time frame from a market perspective of where this technology is moving. We're so early. I tell everybody, we're so early, it feels like we're late because we're just waiting and waiting. But what people don't understand, Jay, is it's anywhere from 10 to 14 years from speculation to adoption. Or I'm sorry, to utility. So that adoption phase or stage depends on the technologies we're talking about. Now, crypto is a fast moving technology. We will move, and I don't mean by speed, I meant just it is something everybody in the world is working on. It'll happen quicker. We're probably going to have like a 10-year adoption before the whole world. What I mean is, when I talk about utility, I'm talking the whole world using crypto. Right now, it's 5%. 5% of the world just invested in it, and less than that's even nothing's running on blockchain. Right? My phones, your phones, our computers, and real estate, stock market, none of that's tokenized yet. Right? All of that is coming, Jay.
That's right.
So when I look at the markets, we're very, very, very early on in the market stage. We're in that speculation state, but there's a lot of good money to potentially be made.
Yeah, I love what you're saying, and I want to share this real quick. Just literally about not even 37 minutes ago, there's a video right here that I put up. It's called "Don't Let You F This Up." And what I put in there is, you know, I put quotations by my head there. I coulda, I shoulda, I woulda, and it made me think of that video. What you just said. There's I'm gonna tell everybody to go over to our Crypto4Life page. Make sure you check out that video. Also hit the like and notification bell, subscribe, and don't miss all the incredible. We do multiple videos a day. I'm just so thankful for having this platform to be able to share. But what you said was just profound, and I want you to touch more on that. You know, what do you say, Johnny Crypto, understanding the opportunity as you do, understanding this life-changing opportunity? What do you say to people who are sitting back, worried about what they missed? Because that's what that video was about. Is if you watch it, it's only about 14 minutes. It's a short video, pre-recorded video. And what it's talking about is just understanding where you're at. Right, you got to embrace your moment, your position in life, whatever your financial situation is. So many people, Johnny, are sitting around worried about what Johnny's doing and James is doing and Coach JV's doing and this person's doing, and they're not, and they're also worried about what they miss. Oh, Bitcoin used to be a penny or a dollar, and it's just a shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oh, if I'd have got in back then, instead of just embracing the moment, Johnny, trying to get in where they fit in, and understanding that the greatest opportunities in this space hasn't even come yet, brother. We're so early. I want you to talk more about that if you can.
And that's really what I tell everybody. I tell them that, look, you have the opportunity to potentially invest in the future reals of the system. And I tell them that, yes, I understand that you're seeing Bitcoin at a high price, but the reality is it's not Bitcoin. It's the technologies behind the scenes, how our phones are going to work to each other, how the banking system is going to transfer value from one place across the country to the other in a short period of time. I don't spend a lot. They get a shout out to my man Abs out there.
Abs in the house
in the world.
Coolest guy ever. Love that dude.
He really is. But at the end of the day, you know, Jay, what we're talking about here is we're talking about a transformation in technology. You only get these opportunities once in a lifetime. So I tell everybody, I say, look, if you're interested, take any portion of money that you can afford to lose and place a small bet. take a look at some of these technologies. Take a look at some of these areas where the world is going to be transformed to, and use that as an opportunity. Don't put your baby money and your rent money into the space, but money that you can afford, a little additional money. You have to learn. The smartest man rich by blah blah says you have to invest in yourself. You have to pay yourself, and you take some of that, and you invest it in areas that you think are going to appreciate. Now, there's a lot of utility in some of these cryptos that are coming. And so I just tell them that, if you remember back in 97, there were missed opportunities, and, you could have bought the next Amazons, or you could have been buying the Amazon and Google and all that. Well, I tell everybody, those companies? They're like, oh yeah, I know those. I go, well, guess what? Ripples, Coinbases, there's so many different companies out there today that we're going to fill that role in this next bump up. And so there's opportunities there. So I tell them, you're not. And so I end usually with, don't worry, you're not too late. You're actually still very early in the process. You still can come in and you can transform your life and create generational wealth in this space if you diversify in it.
That's right. But you got to appreciate and understand what this is, and that this doesn't come around many times in our lifetime. I mean, just once in a lifetime opportunity, brother. And there's most of the things that we've missed is either we didn't know, we didn't have the money, we didn't have the, whatever it was. And I think it's funny because I always tell people, don't treat this like a lottery ticket. But if you were going to treat it like a lottery ticket, which you shouldn't, think of it like we're giving, like each project out here, some of these projects like Ripple, XLMX, there's a lot of them that you're getting the winning numbers. And all you got to do is go back and figure out why. So it's like you're getting the answer, go back and figure out the question. So if someone says Ripple or XRP, go figure out why. Like this, I've never been in a position like, and I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. Me and you talked about it backstage. It was a struggle, even though I could follow what successful people was doing. There was no one gave me anything. I had to go out there and research and put in the work and have the money and all the stuff. This is sometimes it feels like it's too easy that people don't appreciate it, man. When you sit up there and you tell stories of people making $100,000 or $1 million, whatever, if you haven't made that money, people can't fathom. So they think it's a joke.
They do. Well, and the other side too of it is, fortunately, a lot of people hear about the space as a get-rich-quick scheme. Mm-hmm. And so here's what happens. They come into this space. They hop into really quickly into some kind of shit coin or some kind of meme coin. And because if you're not in those very early, boy, those things can move very quickly, and you can lose a boatload. And so they come in, they lose their money, they get a bad taste, and they leave. And I tell them, like, okay, listen, if you want it, get rich quick, go to the casino. You actually have a better chance. You seriously do, Jay. You have a 48% chance if you bet on red or black on roulette. That's the highest odds you're ever going to get in life. Okay? Yeah, that's right. You want to take a gamble. Here, there are so many good technologies. If you're willing to and here's the problem. Nobody has time. Nobody wants to put the time. But if you're willing to put the time in and do some research, you can really find some really good utility, real world solved solutions out here that these blockchains are going to solve. Yeah. And for me, I want to be invested in those because that's where we're headed. You want to be looking at where are we going in the future and how can we invest in some of the rails? You don't want to be the guy riding the train. You want to be the guy owning the tracks. That's right. That's where the money is. So to me, that's why I'm excited about crypto and blockchain technology, because it's a chance to own the rails moving forward.
That's right. And I think one of the things people need to also do is make sure they're careful on who they're following. And that's why I see so much value in what you guys are doing with Good Morning Crypto, what we're doing here at Crypto4Life, you, Abs, Coach JV. I always say, you have to be very, very careful who you follow. And I think sometimes some of those stories about memes where a guy put in $69 in a meme on Solana and it turned into 2 million. Sometimes that's not such a good thing because he made it, but what about the tens of thousands that get wrecked? And I always say, the greatest thing about crypto is anybody can do it. And the worst thing about crypto, is anybody can do it. And so at the end of the day, I think, you just got to be really smart who you listen to. And what information you're following. So that's definitely it. Let's move over to someone that I have a lot of respect for. I love Coach JV's story. Coach JV was coming on yesterday. He was talking about his struggle, and a lot of people don't do that, but there's one guy that he reminds me a lot of, and this guy's name is John Deaton, and his story is just phenomenal. I definitely appreciate him sharing that, not only, with his platform on X but also in his book. And it just really speaks volume to who he is. I call him the people's champion. He's out there fighting for all the, all those who are being unjust, telling the truth. And so talk about John Deaton, what you feel about him, and why you think him running for Senate is a big deal for the space.
Oh man, John Deaton is a wonderful guy. We've had him on the show. Love John Deaton. He's a champion of the people. Think about what he did, Jay. He went out of his own pocket and fought that whole, joined that XRP party. People think he was part of XRP's law team. He wasn't. Yeah. He did that on his own, pro bono, because he truly believed what the SEC was doing wrong and that a lot of people were wrong. And so kudos to John for picking up the banner there and running with it. And let me tell you something. The biggest problem we have today with crypto is we have no regulation.
Yeah.
And because we don't have regulation, it is stifling. I'm telling you, Jay, it is stifling innovation in the US. Okay. It is holding us back. I've heard of companies, CEOs, managers literally tell me, can't do it right now because it's not regular. I'm not touching it with a 20-foot pole because they don't want to get sued. Okay.
That's right.
So we need more people. And I always show this list. I want to show it again here. Here's your pro crypto senators, guys. Write those names down. Go support those guys. But you know what? None of these have the knowledge that John does. Right. John Deaton does about crypto. And imagine what they need or what we need in Senate is somebody that can educate these senators to be able to help them understand this space a lot better and to help them understand what's going on. Because there's a there's two factions right now in crypto and in Congress. There's a pro-crypto faction, there's an anti-crypto faction. We all know that. Right. We know who the anti is. I'm not even going to say her name. I don't want to give any credit to her. But we know who she is. But man, if Deaton knocks her off, you want to talk about eliminate. Now, don't get me wrong. She's just the face of it. There's real money behind it. It's the lobbyists. They'll find another face to put in front of it. Right. But taking her out and putting somebody like John Deaton in this space would be transforming for Congress for me. If we can have somebody like that sitting in their ears, being able to help educate them, and more importantly, be able to counter argue.
That's right.
Because that is massive in Congress. You've got one side spitting out all this crap, fake horse bullshit about how crypto is being used for nefarious activities. First of all, we know it's like less than 1%.
Yeah.
But nobody's there to counter that, right?
That's right.
John will do that. And that's why I think it's so important to have somebody like him in Congress for multiple reasons. So I tell Abs and anybody in Massachusetts, get your butts out there. If
Absolutely.
Crypto, go give John a vote.
Hey, we need John in there, and we need to get out the unnamed, which is EW. Some people call her the puppet master, but
there you go.
But so with all the information that you have, all the due diligence that you've done, very brilliant in the space. Would it be fair in asking you, is Ripple a solid company in your opinion?
Oh, I mean, when you look at, first of all, so for me, so full disclosure, I'm invested not only in XRP, the technology, but I actually am owner of Ripple. If for Link2, you could buy Ripple shares on Link2, right? Pre-IPO. So I'm invested in both. So that answers your question right there, right? I truly believe in the senior management of the company. Right. I love Brad's vision. Brad is no fool. Brad is super, super smart. And look at what they did. They started out and they came out as a cross-border payment solution back in 2012, 2013, when the open coin technology was out there, and then Ripple came in and kind of adopted the technology, took it over and owned it and renamed it, right? But at the end of the day, what they were doing here, Jay, is they had a solution for cross-border payment. But we know that they're expanding beyond that. They are smart. They're looking at, okay, there's tokenization. Right. So that, they're going to, and then there's custody solutions. There's AMAs, now stablecoin, right? And through Metaco. So they're doing everything to diversify themselves as a company. And I told you earlier, diversification is important to me. They have diversified. They're not going to play in one little niche. Like, hey, we see the big picture. To me, it's fascinating how they are positioning themselves to play in multiple areas of crypto. Very, very smart, very brilliant. And for me, that's why I love Ripple, the company.
That's right.
As well as XRP, the technology, but I love Ripple, the company as a whole. I think they're doing wonderful things. And for me, I actually think that's going to be potentially one of the future big Amazon companies in the world, technology-wise. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. No, I love how Brad referenced Ripple as being the Amazon of crypto. Yeah. I'm going to go a little bit off topic here, and go over to Edward Barecki. If you can see that question there, he says, "I'm curious why such an advanced country like the U.S. doesn't have regulation, but second and third world countries do. Has to be on purpose." So your thoughts on that? I have my thoughts as well. But
Russell, I just want to say shout out to Edward. Great question, because you know what, my man. The question is always more important than the answer, as our man Mark Yusko says. So important to ask the questions.
That's right.
My take on this is very, very obvious to me. The U.S. has been the innovator in the world for the past 80, 90 years. We are the number one leading innovator in the world. So it's a fair question. You say to yourself, well, how the hell in the world is the number one country in the world not leading this innovation?
That's right.
And so when you look at it, you got to just look and say, okay, behind the scenes, there has to be a reason. There's somebody pulling the strings that has decided that, you know what, the U.S. is going to take a back seat to this. And that, I truly believe that. Somebody's pulling the strings and said, nope, we're going to slow roll this thing. That's right. And that's why you don't have a regulation in Congress. That's why you got the SEC like a Mad Hatter going out there, just going after anybody and everybody to create this unsafe environment so innovation can't thrive. That's exactly what's happening. So to answer Edward's question, in my opinion, some of the main people that pull the strings in the U.S. have decided we are going to play a backseat to us, and we're going to let other nations take the lead. And I think that might be because maybe it's the passing of the baton. Maybe the U.S. won't be the leading innovator in the world for whatever reason why they chose to do that. It's very, very sad, Jay, but I think there's something behind the scenes going on that's driving it.
No, I definitely agree with that as well. Without seeming like we're talking about anything as far as financial advice, where do you see XRP's potential in the short term? Obviously, that's predicated off of retail people like you and I, versus the long term when it's really adopted for the utility and what it was actually created for. What do you see as far as on those both?
Great questions. Yeah. So on the short term, when we look at this current upcoming bull run, the reality is right now, XRP has unfortunately always had, at least from my experience since I've been in crypto, the monkey on their back. And when I say the monkey on their back, I mean the lawsuit. We still don't have this damn thing completely closed and out of the picture yet. This thing's still lingering around over there on their back a little bit, right? A little baby monkey, but he's still back there. So I can't wait till we can take that thing, and thank you, Crypto Navigator. When we can take that thing, just throw that thing right out the door, and it's completely off the table, and we can really see what the true price appreciation or price discovery would be for XRP. Now, I look at the technology, I look at the technicals, the TA of it, and when you look at the 1.68 and things like that, it is possible, I think, in this bull run that maybe we see anywhere from, and this is going to be a wide range, but anywhere from $5 to $10.
Yeah,
I think it's very, very realistic. I'm not one of those, sorry, people aren't going to like this, but I'm not one of those 589 or 1,000. I don't see that happening yet, and I'll tell you why. Because to get to those kind of numbers, I've done the math, you need to have a massive, massive daily trade volume. Could we get there someday?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. If adoption occurs and they really start taking over some cross-border payment solutions, and they start taking over, derivatives markets and things like that, no question that we could end up somewhere down the road into those bigger numbers, Jay. And that's why I have an exit plan, right? My exit plan is I'm looking at taking profits on some of my XRP as it moves up, but I'm taking a big bag with me, Jay, to the future.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, in 1997, Jay, I go on Amazon for $17, and like an idiot, it went to 27. Dude, I was 25, 26 years old. I thought I was the smartest trader in the world. I sold that son of a bitch, took that 10 grand. I was so happy. I'm a great trader. I'm an idiot. An idiot.
Wow.
If I had an exit plan, Jay, and I had held on to 20, 30% of those shares, I might not even know you today because I'd be a multi-millionaire. I might not be doing this, right?
Wow, that's crazy.
But the good thing is it's a lesson learned. Every failure in life isn't a failure. It's just a lesson learned. I learned from that. That's why we created Merlin. That's why we have an exit plan. And this time around, I am not making that same mistake. I know I'm holding some of the potential Amazons of the future, and I'm taking them with me. Yeah,
I love it. And the next question I would have is, why do you feel, and I understand, I mean, we both understand this question, but why do you feel so many people are frustrated with XRP and its price? And obviously they're looking at, the Shikaka coins that are going 1,000% in 1 week, and they're looking at all the shiny stuff that's sexy and everything else. I don't think they really understand, but just your point on why you think people are frustrated right now, maybe what they need to do to, get those emotions in check.
Well, that's easy, right? So the reality is people are frustrated because they're here to make money.
That's right.
And they thought they were going to make a quick buck, or they thought they had a technology that, would appreciate over time. And now what they're seeing is shit coins like dog with a hat, which has zero use case whatsoever, is sitting at a $3 billion market cap and the thing's skyrocketing, right?
That's right.
And then XRP is acting like the best stable coin in the world. The thing's been like a stable coin for 2 years. I get it. I understand the frustration. People want to see it move. And so that's where I think the frustration is coming from, is they've been holding on to this because they believed in it.
That's right.
But then they're seeing everything around them pop, and the thing that they believe in isn't moving. And they're like, well, what the hell? Why is my thing not moving? And they're getting frustrated. And what they don't understand at the end of the day is there is other forces here that's been going on and holding Ripple back. Let's face it. They have been treated unfair. Okay. And we see that they were the only ones that had the lawsuit thrown on them. And yet they still kind of 10x'd in the last bull run. But the reality is the expectation was just higher, right? Breaking the all-time high. So I think the frustration is driven from the fact that you're seeing everything else pop up around you, and this thing's just acting like a stable coin. But Jay, I think what's going to happen is over time, when the time is right, you're going to see XRP do its thing, right? And we need to get past this final lawsuit and get that thing off its back completely.
That's right. That's right.
And hopefully this will be done in the next 3 to 6 months. We'll see a settlement, be done with it. And now it's really zero reason for any company to be concerned about working and adopting their technology. Then maybe we'll start hearing more about. The problem with XRPJ is the narrative is old. The narrative is old. The whole idea of cross-border payment solution was a fantastic narrative in 2017. It was nothing anybody heard about. It was new. It was exciting. It drew a ton of money, and it was believable.
That's right. That's right.
What's the new narrative? There hasn't really been a great narrative right now for XRP.
Right.
Other than that, that kind of same thing. But I think so once the monkey's off its back and they could start talking about new narratives and where they're growing and show proof of that, I think that's when you'll see the money come in and you'll see this thing take off.
Yeah. I think it's not only the things that we know, it's the things that we don't know. And, and I think they're smart enough to know not to say everything, because it seems like when they were very forthcoming and they were saying everything, being totally open with the SEC, it got them in trouble. So why do that again? Why not just fight the old battle that's been lingering on for all this time? And then once that happens, I think that the news that they'll give the people who believe, the XRP army, and those who kept faith, I think is going to be extraordinary. And I think that's why Brad doesn't strike me as a guy who says things he doesn't mean. And when he says flip of the switch moment, I do believe that's exactly what they're planning. You see Rosie Real saying the train's left the station. So I think there's a lot of things. I love one of the things that he said back in the day. It was not too long ago. He goes, Ripple in the beginning was like when Amazon was selling books. He goes, they're not that now, and neither are we. So I definitely love that. Yeah,
that's right. And think about this. I'll leave you with this. Think about this one. Look at all the relationships they have, and look at all the people they brought on their team. I mean, they have major. And let me tell you, this is why it's important. I'm putting another note up that I use all the time. Jay, this is so important. It's not what you know, my friend. You know this. It's who you know.
That's right. That's
connections. You want it. Relationships are the key that drive everything. And they've got some major relationships on the team. That's another reason why I'm invested in the company, because I love the people in that company. I
agree with you. When everyone was running, when things got bad, when we dropped from 68,000 to 15, 6, 7, doing the whole FTX deal, everybody took off. Banks were collapsing. CEOs were running. There were massive layoffs. There were companies fleeing the U.S., but Ripple kept growing, expanding, acquiring some of the greatest minds around the world, and companies for that matter. And so it just says a whole lot about them. And look, one of the things I always want to remind people when you're watching this channel, this is not a XRP maxi channel. This is a justice. This is the truth. This is talking about, really, in my opinion, the biggest news when it comes to a crypto project, because you name one crypto project that has so many different facets. You got this incredible technology, this first-class team. You've also got the biggest scandal, not only with the SEC, with ETHGate that ties right back into Ripple, goes all the way up to Wang Chang, Prometheum, China. I mean, if you can come up with a better coin with more chaos, then you let me know and we'll start doing that every live with every guest. But until then, This is about justice. This is about a person like myself who used to travel the world speaking. And some of those places I would speak were the YMCA National Convention and other places about bullying. I hate bullies. And all I've seen with the SEC and this Ripple case is bullying, an agenda, corruption. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. That plus the fact that when you really do your research and due diligence, Johnny, you named something that's better than this opportunity right now. A lot of people, you know, when I talk about the shoulda, coulda, woulda, they look back at Bitcoin and it's phenomenal in what, you know, the fact that it came from a joke to where it's at now. It just, to me, Bitcoin tells me that it's possible. But I think some of the greatest stories in crypto haven't been told yet, haven't happened yet, because there's so many things now today. You know, people say, I wish I would have got it. No, you wouldn't have, because if you'd have gotten a Bitcoin at $1, you probably would have sold at 10, just like you did with Amazon, right? Just being straight up with you. I mean, I probably would have sold at 100, to be honest with you,
100%.
right? So to say that you woulda, coulda, shoulda is horrific as far as who you are as a person and for your family, right? So the way I look at it is that if you just get it and understand that, oh my gosh, let me pay attention now. This is the time. This is the greatest moment to be in this space. Johnny, I want you to elaborate on that if you can.
Greatest time in human history, as
That's
Coach
right.
always says, to invest. No question about it. Huge opportunity. Any of us who missed it in 97 and any of you who weren't alive or like Abs when he was in diapers back then, the reality is you now have an opportunity to invest in a life-changing technology, Jay, that's coming. No question about it. We have the ability to front run it before most of the big tech companies get here and get their grips around it and take it over, right? And so for me, it's a massive, massive opportunity. And for people, you know, you said something so important. What most people are going to do, Jay, is they're going to buy this, they're going to get in, and they're going to ultimately sell too early, like I did with Amazon, because here's why. And this is why I stressed early in the show, I wanted to help people understand there's a difference between the speculation stage and the full-blown utility, and it's about 14 years. And if you don't believe me, go look at Amazon's stock price, okay? The speculation phase happened from 97 to 2021 to 2001, a 4-year period of time. Major speculation went from $1 to 125, back to $1.
That's right.
And then it went flat for about 10 to 14 years. It was flat, and then skyrocketed and, you know, got eventually to $3,300. But Jay, that was 20 years later. So I ask everybody out here in this audience right now, how many of you have the patience to hold on to what you own right now for 20 years to get the maximum profitability out of it? Most people can't do that. You said it right. They'll sell.
That's right. That's right.
But if you understand what you own,
right,
and you look at history and use it as a guide and say, okay, you know, all these big players, the Amazon, the Googles, the Red Hats, the Yahoos that came out of it, it took 10 to 15 years for those to come to major price point.
That's right.
I'm not saying it's going to take that long here. Maybe it might be 8 or 9 years, Jay. The point is, it isn't tomorrow and it isn't next year. It's going to take several, and that's what I'm trying to educate people to understand, because I'm in the technology space. I understand how long it takes to get technology out there, to get it worked, to get it debugged, and then to get it adopted everywhere. It's a time-consuming process. But
no, I agree with you.
A lot of money.
You got to have patience, and I think you hit it right on the head with that. You got to have patience. This is not a get rich quick situation. And then, you know, what are you willing to do? You know, are you willing? I mean, and then what is your money going to make in the bank? You know, you know, people have to understand that. Like we have some time to go, but in the same aspect, I mean, we've got some things that we got to get past. We got to get regulatory clarity. We've got to, you know, there's a lot, you know, and the fact that, Johnny, we're still facing quite a few things. I mean, ETHGate is real. Now, what happens with ETHGate? I don't know. It's kind of hard because I'm a little torn. It's like the longer I've been in this space, the more I realize just how corrupted our government is and our system. And it's so sad because at one point I really did believe that I was free. I really did believe. Now I love my country, but I also realize that it's a country predicated off of not as a race, but as all people, slavery. They love slavery. They love keeping us in a matrix where we do just enough not to get fired. They pay us just enough not to quit. And we bust our butts looking forward to a percentage what barely got us by in the first place. It's a messed up system. And I think that's a part. And when you look at stuff like FTX, Johnny, and what happened with Sam Bankman-Fried, you know, so we're so quick to forget that guy's in prison serving time for one of the biggest scandals out there. Now, I say that But I also have to say this, all those felonies, they drop one. And the one that they drop is who got paid from a political standpoint with all that stolen money. So it was bad, it was fraud of what he did, and he got felonies. But that one thing, probably one of the biggest things, where did the money go when it comes to politicians? They dropped that part of the case. So it really makes me lose faith in our system of what I think might happen with ETH. And look, no one wants to see ETH go down. I just want people to be accountable, like Tanya Harding when she paid the mugger to hit Nancy Kerrigan in the ankle back in the ice in the Olympics. I want the SEC to be accountable for what they've done. And Ethereum. Go ahead, speak on that.
Yeah. So two things. You touched on two things. So first, I want to touch the slavery piece. You know what? And so if you look at through a time, really nothing has changed except for how we call it. And I had a good friend of mine. You know what he used to call it? So back then when we were slavery. You know what we are now? He calls economic slaves.
Yeah,
100% spot on. You said it. Yeah. We get paid. We trade we've just swapped the title from slave to economic slave, right? That's all we are. We're happy sitting at home or not, but sitting at work, taking a job, going to school, paying our taxes, as Robert Kiyosaki says. And we've literally just traded the name up to we're an economic slave now. So it's sadly what the nation we've become. But, some of us are trying to rise above that and trying to understand that if you really want to break the chains of that, you really have to become an entrepreneur. You have to have your own business and do your own thing. So from that, but getting back to your question about justice and ETHGate, so anybody who watches Good Morning Crypto Show is going to already know where I stand on this. I am a big believer in what you said, justice. Every good human patriot wants justice, right? And they want a one-tier justice system. Well, here's the bad news, guys. We don't have that. I'm just going to be honest with you. Let's face it. Just look at. So I tell Abs all the time. He always asks me, Johnny, when are these guys going to jail? I said, Abs, I hate to tell you, they're not. It's not going to happen because, again, you know what? Yeah. So it goes back to this, Jay. These guys have connections. It's what you know, who you know. If you guys think that Hinman's going to jail, I hate to tell you, it's not happening, boys.
It's not going to happen.
It's not. And I told him, but when it first came out, he was all excited. Oh yeah, I goes, Abs, it's not happening. No, why do I say that, Jay? Because you and I have lived long enough to see that a lot of people who have connections and are in the government seem to get away with stuff.
That's right. That's right.
Who are associated with a certain side seem to get away with things.
Right.
And the reality is, it comes down to it's the fox manning the hen house, and that's
you just said it. You said who is who you know, and it's like when all this stuff came out, they were quick to throw. Kind of like was it the ETH Max or something that the Kardashians were involved. They made her pay. They went after her quick.
Oh yeah,
and even when they were talking about when they were talking about Tom Brady's and Shaquille O'Neal's and Steph Curry's, they don't care about those guys. What they cared about is, wait a minute, if we bring that up, then we got to also tell on these politicians. So we're going to drop the whole thing. And so that's why you won't see a lot of these people pay. They may pay fines.
Oh yeah,
for the fact of just making it seem like a falsified justice that we're getting. And I think that's really the narrative, because even when I heard Brad Garlinghouse say, no, I don't think they're going to prove this with the theory. I think they let the monster get too big. But what they're trying to do, because I used to say, why did they do this now? Out of all the times that Gary Gensler sat in front of the congressional hearing and all these news stations and saying, and just avoiding the question, why now? Well, I think, me personally, I want you to talk about this or give me your opinion. I think it's because they're trying to hurry up and push Ethereum ETFs. That's just my opinion, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, so for me, I think part of the reason why they're doing it now is, maybe they got a little egg on their face, like, okay, we have to address this. And think about it. It is happening after the switch from proof of work to proof of stake, which means now it draws a line in the sand and it protects Hinman and all their cronies in the past. You can't go after them because remember, the whole reason why it was not a security. Remember the very famous words, sufficiently decentralized. To this day, Jay, I still have no freaking clue what the hell in the word sufficiently decentralized means. Okay? None of us do, because he gave no definition of it. He just said those two words, and that allowed him to collect 15 million bananas, right? We know what he got the big payday because of literally coming out and saying those two words.
That's right.
Those two words. Now, you draw the line in the sand, fast forward to where we are today.
That's right.
Stake, and now they're as well, we're no longer centrally decentralized. So we're not going to go after Hinman because back then it was, but now we could do whatever we want. So you can see why it's easy for them to draw the line in the sand now because they've protected everybody in the past.
That's right.
Going forward, yeah, they'll make the argument. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. We kind of know that ETH is listen, the big boys are latched into ETH. And
That's
so
right.
for me, I think, Jay, at the end of the day, we will get an Ethereum ETF at some point in time. I'd be highly surprised if we don't get it. And I'd be highly surprised if anybody goes to jail from ETHGate. I'll be happy if someone pays a fine at this point. Jay.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Just to get some type of gratification, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And I think what happens is, we're all upset, but I think once we have a settlement, or once there's a fine issue for Ripple, which that's the next thing I want to get into. I don't know if you saw all this stuff that's going on. Again, I know we're getting away from our question, but there's some things that have happened since I sent you these questions. Obviously we saw the crazy, ridiculous $2 billion asking price. Then we just seen, and I always said, look, man, the fact that they gave a price means that maybe they're open to talking, but I also thought it was just gesturing who they are. And since you guys look for something, let's throw this ridiculous amount of money out. Now you see that the SEC has had 2 of their attorneys step down after being accused of being, basically being found to do some things that are unjust. Yeah. I'm trying to. Yeah, bullying and having on the agenda. And so, what do you say to all that? And the fact that Ripple came right out and said, you know what, maybe 10 million.
It just kind of goes to show you. First of all, Jay, let's just put this thing into perspective.
Yeah.
JP Morgan has been manipulating the gold market forever.
Yeah.
And they got fined for it, okay? And the largest fine they ever had to pay was slightly under $1 billion. Okay, so 900 something. And they made $20 billion off the deal. So, okay. I pay $1 billion in fine. I make $20 billion. It's $19 million profit. $19 billion profit. Not too bad, right?
Yeah.
That's for something major that affected a major market, and millions of investors were hurt, and they only had to pay $1 billion.
Right.
Now let's fast forward to where we are today, just to show you how nonsensical and crazy and ridiculous this is. So the SEC, who was only willing to sue JP Morgan for just under $1 billion. For $20 billion manipulation and profit that they made and hurting a bunch of people, wants $2 billion out of Ripple when they just proved in court that not a single investor was hurt.
Never.
So wait, let me get this straight. Nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
And we're going to sue you $2 billion. But in the JP Morgan case where a ton of people was hurt, we only asked for $1 billion. I mean, what?
It makes sense.
Hello? No. I mean, this is, again, this just goes to show you how wacky cockamamie this whole thing is, Jay.
Yeah.
That we're sitting there with a bunch of, I mean, it just doesn't even make sense, Jay.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Good for Ripple for throwing them $10 million.
Yeah.
I don't even think they're going to get that, but good for them for throwing that out there.
Yeah. I don't know what the number will be. I think Ripple will at some point evaluate how important it is to get this done. I think, you see $2 billion, you hear a $10 million offer from Ripple, and that could have been either serious or just being, facetious, being the fact that they're just being a bunch of asses over at the SEC. But, Jeremy Hogan and many others, like this person just posted, I've seen this where they were talking about maybe around 100 million. Who knows what it is? But I think it's in Ripple's best interest to just get this thing over and done with. Obviously not at 2 billion, but hopefully at some point. Now let's get into Fruition Productions, Maya and Chris and those guys, what they're doing over there. I've become real good friends with them. We talk pretty much on a weekly basis. She's part of our ladies night that we do every Friday here on the Crypto4Life show. How important is that video, in your opinion, to expose not only XRP Unleash, ETHGate, but at a time where I feel not only those in crypto need to see that, but those around the world really need to see that. How important is that documentary in your opinion?
Jay, I think it's super important when you have the ability to actually educate people in the space. And shout out, by the way, to Chris and Maya and to them. Those are great guys.
Absolutely.
Abs and I were part of that. We are part of that as well. That recording, filming. It's very, very fascinating to be a part of history, Jay. And I think also to be able to document, kind of someday to be able to look back and see where this thing started and where it's headed. Kudos to them for doing it. We need to educate people on what blockchain is. You've already seen Netflix pick up 2 other shows, BitCon and another show that's on there now. And people are watching it. People are learning. And so for me, I think this is super, super important to be able to just educate the community.
That's right.
With a trustable and validated source to be able to show what this thing can do, where it's moving, what real world problems it's trying to solve. It's going to create great attention. It's going to bring great awareness to it. I'm super excited for that. Kudos to them for doing it. I can't wait for it to launch so that the industry, so more and more people can get exposure to the space. You talked about earlier, what would it take to draw people into the space? That's one of the things that would certainly do it for sure.
That's right. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Where do you see, you got these crazy numbers, man, and I know you see them like I see them. You got Kathy Wood over at ARK Investments. At one point, she thought 1.4 billion per Bitcoin by 2030. Then she said, based off of some of the technicals that they've looked at from their team's perspective, 1.6. You've seen Michael Saylor says that's just the beginning, and that's based off of bigger numbers adopting the asset. Where do you see not only Bitcoin, but let's say, and before I even finish this off, you saw also Brad Garlinghouse said by the end of this year, maybe we see a $5 trillion market cap. So let's talk hypothetically, because I have a two-part question. If we see $120,000 Bitcoin, where does that mean some of these other assets? I mean, because I think by default, that'll pull certain assets up over $1, right? Just by default. So where do you see that in the short term, if he's correct, right? I don't bet against Brad. I think there's some different things that are in place that could affect that, and I don't want to get too much into like war or this and that or recession, depression, whatever it could, be. And some of those things make more sense than not, because typically in history, we found that war is how they're able to justify raising inflation and things like that. So if Brad is right, what do you see us in the short term? And if Kathy Wood and those guys are right, where do you see us in the next 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, I think that the thing about Bitcoin that makes it very fascinating, Jay, is, and when you think about it, this is the first time in your lifetime, in my lifetime, and everybody who's in this chat right here.
Yes, sir.
First time in our lifetime that we actually have potentially a store of value or monetary asset.
That's right.
That is finite. We've never had that before. None of it. Name anything. Gold? Nope. We mine 2% of that year, so we're always adding to the supply. Silver? Right. We mine that every year. We're adding to the supply. Real estate? Nope. We build new houses every day. We're adding to the supply. Fiat? Cash? Forget that. So they're pumping it. They're making $1 trillion right now as we speak.
That's right. That's right.
We've never had a true deflationary asset like we potentially have.
That's right.
In Bitcoin, where it is limited. We will never, ever, 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 Jay, have more than 21 million coins when they're fully mined by 2040. Yeah. That's right. 2140, the year 2140. There'll be 21 million coins out there. And of them, only 17 million, because the 4 million we know are already lost. The address wallets have been completely gone. People died. So there's 17 million coins.
That's crazy.
That maybe, Jay, 2 to 3 billion people in the future may be trying to chase. Could you imagine what the value of an asset that's limited? There's a reason why it's broken down in denominations of Satoshis. Someday we won't be talking about Bitcoin and calling it Bitcoin.
No.
It'll be too high in value. So by the way, I'm not a Bitcoin maxi at all.
Right.
Everybody who knows me knows XRP is my biggest holding.
Right.
But I'm a utility maxi, Jay. I have about 40 coins. I'm into a whole bunch of different utilities.
That's right.
So I'm not a maxi at all.
Right.
But I'm also an engineer and I do math, and I can look at numbers and just simple supply and demand, 17 million coins. And if the world decides 5 to 10 years from now, if they decide, Jay, that Bitcoin is going to be the new form, the digital gold store of value. And by the way, I hear a lot of the kids, all my sons and their friends, they don't want gold.
Yeah.
You know what they want? They want Bitcoin.
That's right.
So if that transaction's through, and we see a handing off of gold, which was our grandfather's way of holding their value. If we see that gold transforming from our generation to the younger kid generation into Bitcoin,
that's right. Mm-hmm.
Jay, I personally don't think that, it going over $1 million. I think that's very possible in the future.
Yeah. I agree.
It would not surprise me at all when you think of the limited supply it has, and possibly all the hands that are chasing it.
That's right.
In limited finite supply, I can see it someday being over 6 figures. It would not surprise me. That's maybe 5, 10, 15 years from now. Where we are today, 120 doesn't seem unreasonable at all to me when you look at historically what Bitcoin has typically done after halvings.
That's right.
2 to 3x to me. And you look at the 1.68 Fibonacci extensions, somewhere between 120, 140, 160, 180. I'm actually expecting that, Jay. I'm not going to lie. I think we will see Bitcoin in that raise. And then you asked me, what does that mean for XRP and the rest of the industry? Well, naturally, we know historically in the past, remember, we're different now. We're a Bitcoin ETF. We never had that before. Historically in the past, money rolls into Bitcoin, then it rolls out of Bitcoin and into the alts.
That's right.
I still think we'll see some of that.
Yeah.
But not all of it, because now you have a bunch of that money
that
got rolled into a Bitcoin ETF.
Right.
And you know, your grandpa and my grandpa and everybody who's in those ETFs, they're not going to take that out and roll that into.
People aren't rolling like they used to roll.
It's not rolling.
Yeah, that's right.
But on the whole, because Bitcoin now has what I call been validated by the industry because they made it an ETF, that'll draw natural attention to it. And when it starts to move, 110, 120, 130, you're going to see FOMO like you ain't seen before. And, and I think you're going to see this thing industry roll. And then that kind of money, that FOMO money that goes into Bitcoin will roll out of Bitcoin and it'll roll into the industry, and that'll drive the crypto markets up. And we will see. I think everything will be way higher than we are today, because I like to say it this way: a high tide, Jay, will raise all boats.
Yeah, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Let's talk about that word that's above your head that's also on your shirt, Merlin. Let's talk a little bit about that. What is Merlin? How did it get started, and how does it benefit those who are watching?
Jay, that's great. Thank you for asking. So Merlin is it's a crypto portfolio tracker that we invented through I was part of the 3T Academy with Coach JV at some point in time. I was just a member. I was a paying member. Right. But I was very highly activated. I was so interested, Jay. I was literally researching. I couldn't stop looking into crypto. Like, that's all I was doing in 2020 and 2021. Like, I spent all my time, any living moment, just basically researching crypto. And so Coach asked me to join his team. So I joined the 3T team as a crypto researcher. Well, what we learned pretty quickly was you need to have basically an exit plan. You need to have a way when you get into the space to get out. Otherwise, you'll just watch your coins go all the way up.
That's right.
And you'll watch your portfolio value come all the way down. I'm an expert at that. I've been doing it all my life. And Coach said something when we need to have an exit plan. So I created a spreadsheet to do that. And when I realized it's in the academy, you can still use it today, it was very difficult to track, your stuff live because it's a spreadsheet. It's static. So we realized, what? We need a crypto tracker app, because at the end of the day, when you get in this space, what you realize, Jay, is all your coins, they're all over the place. You got some on Coinbase, some in MetaMask, some on Kraken, some on Uniswap. You're buying coins everywhere. And I had no clue what my portfolio was doing. So we said, let's bring it all in one place. And that's what Merlin does. Merlin is a crypto portfolio tracker that lets you bring all your coins in one place. You can connect all your exchanges. And the great thing, Jay, we don't have your keys. We don't have your coins. We just have transactional data. So your coins are 100% safe with Merlin. No chance of getting hacked. We don't have your keys. We don't have your seed phrase.
I love
but
it.
We have your data. So we can see the transactional data. And then we show everybody what their portfolio is. We show them what their average costs are. We show them what their daily gains and losses are. And more importantly, we built an exit strategy tool.
So let me ask you a couple questions real quick for the person who just maybe is trying to understand. So Merlin, I can take Merlin and through Merlin log into my, let's say, Trust Wallet, or to my Crypto.com account, or to my whatever account that I have. Let's say
Coinbase, Binance,
Coinbase, whatever. Okay, and so by doing that, I'm putting in my username and password, but not necessarily my seed phrase in order to access that.
That's right. So there's two ways we basically these exchanges allow us to connect to your exchange.
Okay.
It's either through a username and password. Some of them do that, like Coinbase, or an API key. So you create an API key.
I see.
And an API key, very easy to create. We have videos on how to do it. Basically, it's a permission key that says, yes, as an exchange, I can share your data with Merlin. And then it just sends your transactional information to us. We can see what you've done. It's read only. We can
like a cryptocurrency version of a social security number. Just, hey, we can take a peek at what you got going as far as your credit.
We can take a peek at what's there, but we don't have any access. We don't have your seed phrase. We just can show you. We're a TV monitor. We're a display. We just show you what you have, but we bring it all together nicely for you. So you can see all your coins. You can see them all in one place. You can see your daily gains, your daily losses, your total gain. And oh, by the way, we even created a tax tool so we can show you and your exit plan. When you create an exit plan, and you pick your strategies and you pick your exit targets. We show you what your total profit could be if all your targets are hit. And we show you what you got to set aside for Uncle Sam.
Wow.
Because remember, just because you make money, you still got to pay taxes because all this stuff is traceable, right? So we built all that here in the Merlin, put everything all in one place so you could track and exit your crypto all in one place. And oh, by the way, when your targets get hit, Jay, we send you an alert. Wow. So you don't even have to be worried about, Jay, I interviewed people. You know what they were telling me? Guess how many times a day they were checking their phone during the bull run? You want to take that? I bet. 20 times a day on average, people were looking at their phone. With Merlin, people look at it once a day, not even, because they know Merlin's just going to send them an alert when it's time to sell, and then they just log into their exchange and they can go sell. And there's a screenshot there to give you an example of you can see your daily gain, see your total gain, basically see what's going on in a nutshell there. Yep. And there's the exit strategy tool right there where you'd create an exit strategy. You put in there, how much you want to hold to the future, what you want to sell, what your exit targets are, and then you get a beautiful alert when it's time to sell. Jay, we make it simple, peace of mind. You can sleep. And of course, your coins are never at risk because we don't have your coins. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I love it. That's amazing. So if people want to get started, they just go over here and hit, is this on Apple and on Android to download?
So right now we're a web app. We're in the process of developing a mobile app. So they would just go to www.merlincrypto.com and click to try it for free. And Jay, they get 30 days free. 30 days. We give everybody 30 days free. We do. Yes, you do have to put your credit card in, but the way we've done it, like with anything, right? You put your card in, but you don't have to get on the phone and figure out how to cancel. We designed it right in the app. 30 days. You can press a button. You can cancel anytime. And it's simple, easy, right in the app. So we made it risk-free and allows you to try it. I love it. Days, all of our features.
Now, after 30 days, what is a person expecting after that?
So if you click the pricing page there, basically it's we have 2 pricing plans right now. So it's $16.99 a month equivalent if you do an annual price, or $18.80 a month if you just do monthly. So really,
I think it's worth it in the sense that if people are trying to not only be able to track their information, but then also one of the biggest things is taxes and other information that you guys are providing is well worth that a lot of people will spend out on a today at McDonald's, So I think for the price of a Happy Meal or number one combo, it's definitely worth being able to have a peace of mind to see all your assets and to know that you have a platform that's taking good care of you, making sure you're doing everything as you should. So I love that.
That's right, Jay. And I'll tell you what, you just said the keyword peace of mind, right? For less than 2 cheeseburgers a month, right?
Yeah.
You basically have the peace of mind to know that if the market starts booming and you're not home or you're not watching it, you don't have to worry. And I'll give you a perfect example. I was in Bass Pro Shops 4 years ago. I get a text from my friend Mario. He says, Johnny, check out Mana. I look at Mana. Jay, this thing was pumping. It was at $5. I'm in the store. Wow. I told my cousin, hold on 1 second. I need to go. I go log into my account. I went and I sold a bunch of Mana. 45 minutes later, when I got home, Mana was down to $3.
Wow.
So, Jay, think about how important that. If Mario didn't send me that text, I would have never seen it. I would have missed it. That's what Merlin does. It sends you that alert right on the spot. You sell on the spot because by doing so, you don't risk. Remember, what people don't know about the space, Jay, this market moves incredibly fast. It goes up fast.
That's right.
And it comes down fast.
That's right.
And I literally would have lost $2 a coin had I not done that sell. So that's why it's so important, the alerts, and why I tell everybody, for the alerts alone, it's worth it. Let alone the fact that you can see all your coins in one place, you can create exit strategies, and you can see what your potential tax liabilities would be if you were to sell on all those. So
yeah, I love it. I love it. Shouts out to all those who are holding, including myself, HBAR. HBAR has been on fire. Right now it's up in the last 24 hours. What I can see is 59.26%. I'm sorry, over the last week, 39.64% of the last 24 hours. So shouts out to all of us who are bullish on HBAR. Also, shouts out to the almost 800 people that are watching live on X and on YouTube. We appreciate you guys. I'm gonna ask you guys to do me a huge personal favor. Go over and support and follow my brother Johnny Krypto. It's going to be at Johnny Krypto with a K 00 at the end, and make sure you guys follow Johnny. You can also connect and follow Johnny and all the things that he's doing. If you go over to his let me see if I get a link tree here. You can see everything from the 30-day sign up link for Merlin. You can see he's got some other things here as far as game nodes. He's got you know, how to start earning coins here. You've got everything from referral links, link to I trust YouTube, TikTok. And so just make sure you guys go over and follow all the things that my buddy's doing over there, over with our brother Abs and Coach JV over at the Good Morning Crypto Show. So we appreciate you guys. Also go over to our Crypto4Life guys, Crypto4Life page, hit the like, subscribe and notification bell so you guys don't miss any of the incredible interviews like the one that we're doing right now with Johnny Crypto, guys. We'll appreciate you guys in a major way. Next question that we have, my brother, is what do you think about like Swift XRP from a political standpoint? Where do you think that might be heading?
You know, that's an interesting thing, Jay. You've got the incumbent, right, Swift, who has major partnerships with all 11,000, you know, banks in there. And now you've got the new player on the block, the new kid on the block, Ripple, trying to replace an old archaic system. And the reality is the Swift system, Jay, it's old, it's outdated, it needs to go. We are in 2020 or 2024, my friend. And yet the fastest way for me to send you money if you were in Europe right now would for me to be to take a suitcase with a bunch of money in it, get on a plane, fly it over and hand it to you. It's literally the fastest way. Because if I tried to send it through the banking system, it would take you would get it immediately, it would look like, right? But it takes 3 to 4 or 5 days to settle on the back end. That's crazy, Jay.
Yeah.
Jay, we can vote American Idol and pick a winner in freaking 12 seconds, all right, on TV, and I can't send you money, and the bank can't settle until 4 days later.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's crazy.
Think how crazy that is. That's because of your Swift system, our Swift system.
Yeah.
Our Swift system is that you want to know what Swift system is on, Jay? Let me stay with it. Everybody out there, you want to know what Swift system? It's the, you know what this is? This is a notebook. This is a notebook. This is what the Swift system is. Okay, it's a freaking notebook, Jay. How they do it? They write messages down. It's a messaging system, and then remind me later. I have to balance the books, and you got to get this much. Right?
Yeah.
No. We should not be in that day and age. We're in 2024, my friend.
That's right.
We can, so the Ripple system will replace that. Right? We know that the cross-border system can solve that instantly. The stock market could be live 24/7 if we had systems like this in place.
That's right.
But the problem is, Jay, there's a lot of money here.
Yes, sir.
A lot of money. There's big players and a lot of money at risk. And so if you think it's going to be easy to displace them, and that's the political battle you're seeing, and personally, my own opinion, and I have no facts on this,
that's right.
I personally believe that's why you saw the lawsuit get slapped on by the SEC, because they said, whoa. People behind Swift, I think, said, no. You're not taking our cake. Not that easy.
That's right.
We're going to stick our friends on you. And I partly believe that maybe, again, it's a theory. Maybe that's one reason why we saw this lawsuit target Ripple in particular and no other company. It would make sense because they threatened the biggest pile of money that we're talking about. The Swift system comes with tons of fees. Banks make, I forgot the number. I forgot how many trillions of dollars they make on the fees on all those transactions, right? So you're talking about trying to take somebody's money. Well, you know what happens, Jay, if someone tries to take your money or attack your family. You're going to defend, right?
That's right.
And I think that's what's going on there politically.
Yeah, no, we talked about this stuff that's going on right now with Tether, and that goes back into one of the biggest scandals that's been mentioned right now, not in the United States, but on the planet, which is what's going on right now over in China with Evergrande, and then some other things over there that's totaled up towards $500 billion. And who's at the forefront of that? Tether. His name seems to be thrown all over the place, and so the reason that I bring that up is I've always said one of the biggest. I remember this game we used to play cards called Spades, and if you had the top 4 spades, they were almost unbeatable. Which was the Jack, the Queen, the King, and the Ace. And we've seen things play out with FTX. We've seen maybe being the Jack. We've seen the Queen with Binance and $4.3 billion in fines, another $50 million in fines. CZ had to step down for 3 years as the United States looks at everything they do. The King of Spades, that could be looked at as what's happening with ETHGate. We'll see how that plays out. But I always thought that the Ace of Spades was Tether, the implosion of Tether. at a time that could still play out and still be a fact. They've always seemed to always avoid a full audit. They're not necessarily here in the United States. There's a new stablecoin act that's going to be passed that, trust me when I tell you, for those who've paid attention, they're not in compliance with anything that act will obviously show. But there's a company that came out and said, hey, we're going to create a stablecoin that will follow all those guidelines and all those laws and regulations, and that's Ripple XRP. To you, is this a perfect timing for that? And what does it mean to Ripple and XRP and those who believe and hold it?
I mean, massive timing. When you think about it, it could be massive, Jay, because at the end of the day, we know, like you just said, Tether is like, it's like opening a closet with a black hole in it, right? You don't know what the hell's behind this thing. Right. We've been trying to get audits. You can't get real good audit records for them. It is really literally a scam, if you really want to. Yeah. And unfortunately, what's sad about that is the whole entire crypto market right now, Jay, is built on Tether. That's very, very scary. And so I think what will happen is when regulation comes out, one or two things is going to happen, Jay. Either one, Tether's going to have to comply.
That's right.
They're going to have to comply. You're going to see serious modifications to that. Or two, the crypto market's going to take a massive hit potentially. But then there could be the savior, right? As you talked about, you'll have an XRP stablecoin that's going to meet all those regulations. Probably also going to have USDC. There ain't no way Coinbase is going away.
Oh yeah,
You're going to have USDC. You're going to have a couple, and then one of those may or may not get blessed by the US. We'll have to see what that regulate. It all depends on what's in that regulation that comes out, right?
That's right.
So that's what we're going to have to see. But to me, those are the two scenario outcomes: is either Tether has to convert over, or we take a bit of a hit, and then the passing of the baton maybe from Tether over to an XRP. Stablecoin or to a USDC stablecoin, and we see the crypto market getting propped up on that. And boy, man, if the crypto market gets propped up on the XRP stablecoin, you want to talk about? I mean, you can see the numbers. You can see the market cap numbers. It's large. It's massive.
Ridiculous.
So 60, 70 billion, right? So it's massive. So we're talking. I think it makes sense that XRP, comes into this space, and they've got all the right relationships, Rosie Rios and a whole bunch of other people on their boards and all over the place. It wouldn't surprise me if someday we start to hear like, hey, yeah, you know what, XRP, that's going to be the stablecoin for this. So I'm excited about where Ripple and the technology is moving in the future, Jay.
Absolutely. One of the oldest and most simplest games back in the day, I used to love it to death, and it was called Connect the Dots. And when you sit here and you connect the dots on what Ripple's been doing, if you're looking for shiny, if you're looking for quick, if you're looking for fast, probably not the thing for you. But if you're looking for long-term sustainable wealth for you and your family, that's going to change the narrative, to make you the Rockefeller in your family possibly, then I think it's a phenomenal game called Connect the Dots. That's all you got to do. Let's talk about BRICS, what they're doing right now, and how could Ripple and the Bank of International Summit, how could all that play out, in your opinion?
So that's a very interesting thing. So the first thing is, I think we are witnessing, Jay, unfortunately, and it's going to happen in our lifetime, every 100 years or so.
That's right.
The nations transfer or lose the world reserve status, and it gets handed on to another nation. And that historically has happened. There's charts out there. You can see them. Every 80 to 100 years, it gets put over. Well, we're already into that 90-ish year, time frame for us, Jay. So we're at the end of our reign, unfortunately. If you watch Ray Dalio's video, he'll actually even say that and tell you that, we are seeing the transition from the world reserve currency of the U.S. onto, whether at first I thought it was going to be China. Okay. I really thought the yuan was going to be the next world reserve currency. Now I'm not so sure. Now I'm thinking it may be BRICS. It may be a basket of currencies that I think what they're going to do. The only way to commit to get any legitimize it, it has to be backed by gold, because otherwise we're going to trust it.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see the BRICS come out, and they're trying to get more and more nations on board. They're going to back it by gold. That's why the central banks bought all the gold in the world, the biggest buying ever of gold.
Yeah.
And then back it by gold to create some, hey, it's trustworthy, right? It can be trusted. Come and use this. And you're going to see that shift over to them.
Yeah.
And then maybe at some point that eventually becomes maybe an SDR or an ESDR, which then could potentially run on a on potentially an XRP type system. We know the BIS is looking at it. They created Project Agora. They have officially started it, and they are looking at cross-border payment solutions. What we need to wait to see is what technologies will Project Agora use, right? So I'm keeping my eye on that, trying to investigate that. Anybody who's wants to pay attention to what's going on with Agora, that's going to give us some insights to what will be the framework of what this new cross-border payment system looks like.
Yeah, and last couple of questions here. CBDC is good, bad, and are they inevitable?
Well, okay. So I'll answer the last one first because that's easy.
Okay.
They're inevitable. There's no question about it. The central banks are coming out. We all know they're working on it.
Yeah.
Now, when you get into the argument of good, bad, or indifferent, depending on who you talk to, you'll hear all these different stories. But Jay, I'm a slippery slope kind of guy, and the reality is, and I've seen what our governments are capable of. Yeah. The reality is, we know the benefits of a CBDC. It would be very cool to be like, hey, yeah, I just worked an hour. I just got paid for an hour right in my bank. Boom. That'd be pretty cool. I don't have to wait till Friday anymore to get paid. I can get paid as I'm working. Or maybe at the end of each day, I'm getting my pay, right? Really cool. But the problem is the slippery slope of a CBDC. Mm-hmm. The fact that it can be controlled. That's right. They can put a time limit on it. They can put a location limit on it. You can only spend it within 15 minutes. All those negative things, spending in 15-minute cities, right? Oh, you're outside 15 minutes, you can't spend it. Yeah. Oh, hey, you know what? We don't like what you said, you're banned. Or hey, you know what? You can only spend your money, at this store in these locations. The fact that all of that is there, if there aren't controls in place,
that's right,
to not limit them, but to stop them so they can never ever occur.
Right.
Like a smart contract that says that can never be done.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
If you don't put those things in place, then to me, it's a very, very slippery slope. And it's something I want nothing. I don't want no part of that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you because like I said, it's one thing if those things are in place, maybe you get people to adopt it. But to think that we're in a government that's full of con artists and criminals and scams. And if they say, well, hey, as a country, we're hurting, so we're going to take 10% of all you guys that made all that money in crypto, we're going to take 10%. I don't like that. And there's nothing you can do about it. So that's definitely one of the issues that I have with that. So with that being said, we're right over an hour right now. We have almost 900 people watching live on X and on YouTube. We appreciate each and every one of you guys in a major way. I'm hanging out with my brother, Johnny Krypto, also with Good Morning Crypto, my brother Ab, and my brother Coach JV, and the whole crew over there, which I'm looking at doing some things with them. We're going to be talking about that at a later time. Give us your final thoughts as we get out of here. Anything that you want to bring up? We've talked about Merlin. We've talked about crypto. We've talked about so many different things. What's something that you want to leave everybody as we end the stream?
I just want to say, Jay, this is the greatest time in human history to be alive and to actually invest in something that can change the trajectory of your family's lifestyle. We actually have a chance to be put in generational wealth. And I'm grateful to Coach JV and the whole entire crypto community as a whole, Jay, that's out there trying to educate people, make them aware of what's going on. And so for me, I just encourage everybody to go out there, do your homework, do your research, follow great guys like yourself, Jay. Your show is great. So awesome that you're bringing people on here to educate the community. I mean, kudos to you for breaking the ice and doing that. And we need more people like you and like ourselves out there educating the community. So I just want to leave you guys with, don't be fearful of this space. You have a great opportunity in front of you. Remember, you are not too late. You are very, very early in this space. Anybody who gets into it, Jay. And I also want to say thank you so much for having me on board, to be able to speak to your audience today and to be able to, share our common thoughts. Debate and conversation is so important in this space to educate the community. So thank you so much for giving me that opportunity. And I also want to throw a shout out to you that we can't wait, and we're excited to have you on the Good Morning Crypto Show May 15th, guys. Make sure you come and follow Jay there too. We love that, Jay. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate that.
I'm looking forward to it, brother. And you guys make sure you go over and follow my brother, Johnny Krypto. I'm looking forward to going on the Good Morning Crypto Show with him, Abs, and the whole crew over there, guys. Make sure you follow him as Johnny Krypto with the K00. Make sure you guys do that. I definitely would appreciate you guys in a major way. Also, go over to our Crypto4Life page so you don't miss any of the incredible content. And if you want to go over and you want to see this video all over again and check out Johnny and all the things he's talking about with Merlin, make sure you guys check out Merlin, the one-stop app where you can track everything. It gives you insight on your taxes and everything else, making sure that you're doing things the right way. We appreciate you guys again. Crypto for Life. Hit the like and subscribe. Johnny, it's been a pleasure, brother. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys on the 15th. It's going to be incredible.
I'm looking forward to it too, Jay. I can't wait. And thank you again so much. I just want to say I love you and I appreciate you for giving me an opportunity to be on your show. It's been an honor. I look forward to hopefully doing it again someday with you, brother.
Appreciate you and I love you too, my man. And you're definitely one of a kind. Appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you.
Guys, until next time, it's your boy James, aka 68J, Crypto for Life. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.